What's up everyone, my name is Rad and I am here today bringing you my review video for Alchemy Stars. It's been a little over 2 weeks since it has launched and I feel good to be able to give you my overall thoughts on it. I'll be going over the story, characters, gameplay, replayability, and gacha aspects of it. This will be a spoiler-free review, so I won't be showcasing any of the story or talking about climactic events within it. For the most part, it'll just be secret territory gameplay and a little bit of my daily farming gameplay in the background, so nothing too crazy. Not sure how long this video will be, so timestamps will be down in the description below. Without further ado, let's drop that transition. So let's start off with the story. The structure of the story is very similar to how Arknights is. There's your episodes, and within each episode you have chapters. You can go for 3-star clears and earn rewards. Definitely there is some heavy inspiration here from Arknights. In terms of the story itself, I thought it was fantastic. I was quite immersed into it and some of the twists and turns were great. In my opinion, it really had a lot of substance. The pacing was great and the dialogue was awesome. It also does a great job of being able to build an emotional connection between you and the characters you come across. From meeting new characters to witnessing a character's actions to seeing the fate of certain characters, it was all blended in well. Also to add, I will say that I quite enjoyed the chemistry between certain characters. They definitely did a tremendous job in how they made it so that they play off each other's personalities. Another thing I'd like to say, and what I respect the most about the story, is that at no point does it take itself too seriously. Even when things seem rough or dire in the story, there was always this small comedic touch of dialogue within them. It kind of gave me the feeling of like, no matter how bad things might be now, there is something positive to come out of this. Even the extra chapters, which are essentially side stories, those were awesome as well. It was really cool seeing the point of view of other characters and being in their shoes. All in all, I will say that the writing within the story is definitely high quality, and I'm excited to see what future chapters will bring. Now, moving on to characters a la Aurorians. I will say that there is no shortage of them. Even with just the base launch, there is a multitude of characters within Alchemy Stars. I will say though that I am a big fan of the variety and also the art design of characters. They all look incredibly unique in their own way and definitely have a nice pop to them, especially when you see the art for Ascension 3 characters. Man! Another cool surprise I'd say is when you do achieve Ascension 3 for a character, it changes the look of their chibi and adds a cool animation to their intro and skills as well. Really nice touch, I would say. Also, I feel that just by looking at a character, you can immediately tell what characteristics they have. Like when I first came across Sharona, she gave me vibes of a cold, tough individual who seemed to be just straightforward, bit aloof and rather indifferent compared to others. If you've watched the anime or read the manga for Bleach, she literally reminded me of Ulquiorra Cypher right off the bat. To conclude, a big 2 thumbs up in the character department from me. Alrighty, now the gameplay. So I gotta say that for me, the gameplay is quite fun. Best way to describe it as is like a line strategy RPG in the overall aspect. I would say it's not too complicated to learn, and as time goes by, like with anything, everyone will get the hang of it. But I also want to state that while those are just my thoughts and opinions, the gameplay itself is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I would definitely say that it is more of an acquired taste. For example, I've had conversations with others that have played Arknights. It's about a 50-50 split in terms of them liking and or disliking it. Same thing applies to those that come from other mobile gacha games as well. I would also like to bring up the RNG aspect of the gameplay for Alchemy Stars. While it does not bother me, I have seen the takes of others that it does. There's basically 2 sides to the story. One side says just bring converters, and that'll alleviate some of the RNG. While others say if I bring converters, I still need to keep restarting the activity to get a good tile formation right off the bat. There is more to it, But that's just the gist of it. I can definitely understand both sides and agree with both. At the end of the day, I would say that there is no right or wrong. Not all games are meant for everyone, and everyone will always be different with what they like. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and that is just perfectly all right. As for replayability, I will say that it is there, but it all depends on who you are as a gamer. If you put lots of hours daily or weekly into Alchemy Stars, you'll eventually plateau and hit a peak. There won't be much to grind out besides units to higher ascensions and levels, leveling their equipment, or just pre-farming materials for future characters and events. If you more so play it casually and log in here and there and go at a more natural pace, then definitely the replayability is there because you'll be prolonging all the content. While yes, you might lag behind others, do not let that deter you. What I'm basically saying is there is a good amount of content in Alchemy Stars. There's the main campaign, extra chapters, Spire, Secret Territory, and soon events. But your pacing will determine how long that content will last. But there is also another side to replayability that I would like to go over, as this is probably the most controversial topic within the Alchemy Stars community, and that would be the prisms or stamina system. And well, here's the thing. From my research and the conversations I've seen throughout Discord and Reddit, the community is basically 50-50 in terms of how they feel about the implementation of the stamina system. Some don't mind it, while others highly dislike it. There are a lot of fiery takes from both sides, but basically at the end of the day, it becomes a la casual versus hardcore player-based debate. Here's what I will say. I can understand both sides. Alchemy Stars is currently a PvE only game, so there isn't any form of PvP competition, weekly leaderboards, etc. Unless you want to count the Spire clearboard, but I see that more as a milestone achievement. So there is no rush or need to catch up to anyone, as we'll all eventually get to the same apex, just at different paces. But also at the same time, I do want to play Alchemy Stars more. I do want to create a variety of formations and try them out in different scenarios. I would love to grind and play with no restrictions, but the thing is, at the end of the day, it is a gacha game, and there is a stamina system. While in terms of stamina regeneration, I would say it's within the norm, if not better than other systems out there. And like I said earlier, I have read the suggestions, I've read the rants, and I've read the complaints. But I personally do not believe there will be any extreme change to the stamina system at hand. From all the gachas I've played, the stamina systems have been kept as is, and if there was a change, it would increase the cap on what you can have stored. Now, Tordog Studios has recently implemented a change to the secret store, and you can purchase 2 recharger packs per week for extra prisms to use. Even though the change is minor, it still is a positive. This can potentially lead to events providing these kind of rewards, albeit on a more limited scale. But the point of the stamina system is to be able to limit players daily and not have them burn through and complete all the content in one go. There is also a business side to it in terms of potentially making players pay for premium currency to complete maximum daily stamina refreshes per day as well. That's a whole different aspect, but that's mainly one of the main things, right? What I mainly want to say here at the end is that we should be able to debate about topics like these without having to get overly negative or even personal about it. It's perfectly alright if you don't agree with each other's opinions, but there is no need to escalate it to another level. I've seen some debates go from disagreeing about the stamina system to name calling, body shaming, etc. It really creates a frictional divide, especially when others start to chip in. And remember, I'm not saying the whole entire community is like this. I'm just speaking from experience of reading those conversations. What may be right for you might feel wrong for another, and vice versa. We are all entitled to our opinions, and that is totally okay. My apologies for going off on a tangent there. I just wanted to make sure I clear that up. But yeah, that's basically it. In terms of the gacha, I would say that it is incredibly generous for the most part. If you played Arknights, the system should be familiar, though the rates are a tad bit better, and also you are guaranteed a 5 or potentially 6 star within your first 10 pull on new event banners. Now, of course, there is still a heavy emphasis on RNG and luck for you as the individual. From my experience, it's been like all my other gacha experiences. I tend to be incredibly lucky with all my summons across all the gachas I play. And if you don't believe me, check out my previous video where I did over 110 plus summons. Shameless plug, lol. But I do know of others that literally go through the opposite of what I experience. Even though I don't personally think it is the best gacha implementation, I do believe it is implemented incredibly well. So, those are my thoughts. My apologies if this video is quite long. I wanted to be as in-depth as I could. Hopefully, I articulated everything I could as clearly as possible. I do believe Alchemy Stars is a high-quality mobile gacha game that I would recommend those interested in trying out. It won't be for everyone, which is understandable, but it's definitely worth a try. I do believe the game has a bright future, and I am personally excited to see what it holds. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate that. Also, rate me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you liked or disliked the content today. All constructive criticism is appreciated. My name is Rad. You're all awesome. See you later.